Hello and welcome. You're watching Raj Sabha TV. This is Breakfast News. I'm Rajat Kane. Here are the top headlines of the day. Budget session of Parliament to begin today. President Pranab Mukherjee to address joint sitting of both houses. Finance Minister to table economic survey of India. Prime Minister Modi appeals to opposition to rise above party lines for meaningful debate. Lok Sabha Speaker says she is hopeful of a fruitful session. Congress demand discussion on 5 issues including note ban. RBI lifts cap on daily ATM withdrawals from February 1st. Limit on current account also lifted. Weekly limit on saving accounts remain. Mumbai terror attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed and 4 others put under house arrest in Pakistan. Move after sustained US pressure to act against terror outfit. And US President Donald Trump fires acting Attorney General after she questions legality of immigration ban. White House accuses her of betrayal. The first part of budget session of the Parliament begins today. Day 1 will see the President address to a joint sitting of Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha in the Central House of the Parliament at 11 a.m. There will be a separate sitting of Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha for the transaction of government business. The Raj Sabha sitting will be 45 minutes after the President's address, while Lok Sabha sitting will be half an hour after the conclusion of President's address. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley will lay in both houses separately economic survey of 2016-17 today. The union budget will be presented on February 1st, that is Wednesday. There will be no separate rail budget from this year as it has been merged with the general budget. The government says budget date has been advanced so as to complete the entire process before the end of financial year. The first part of session has been kept brief in view of the assembly polls in 5 states. It will have 8 sittings from today to 9th of February. The 2 houses will have month-long recess from 10th Feb to 8th March. During this period, the Standing Committee will consider demands for grant of ministries and departments and prepare their reports. The second part of budget session will begin from 9th of March and will continue till 12th of April. 34 bills will be taken up for passing and consideration during the entire session. These include 3 ordinances which will replace 3 through bills. The ordinances relate to enemy property, payment of wages and specified bank notes. The other important legislation to be taken up would be goods and services tax, central goods and services tax, compensation for loss of revenue and integrated GST. Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan also held an all-party meeting of the leaders on Monday. A demand for debate and demonetization has been raised during the meeting. The Speaker has said that a call on it would be taken at the Business Advisory Committee. Beside the Speaker, Deputy Speaker M. Tambidorai, Parliamentary Affairs Minister Anant Kumar, Leader of Congress in Lok Sabha, Mallikarjun Kharge, and leaders of TDP, TRS, BJD and RJD were also present, among others. The TMC, however, did not attend the meet. The Congress has raised 5 issues for discussion, which also includes note ban. The President's address, the union budget, increased terrorist activities and ceasefire violations, and weakening of institutions like RBI, CBI, Niti Aayog and NIA. The Speaker said there was consensus to sit longer during the short session to increase number of hours of discussion. The Congress Parliamentary Party will hold a strategy meet today in Parliament to finalize the plans for the upcoming budget session.
राष्ट्रपति के अभिभाषण पर धन्यवाद प्रस्ताव तो करना ही है। उसके बाद बजट पेश होने के बाद बजट पर सामान्य चर्चा जो होती है वो सामान्य चर्चा होगी। उसी के साथ ये आग्रह था ज्यादातर लोगों का कि अभी भी नोटबंदी की कुछ स्थिति जो है ये स्थिति पर आज भी उस पर कहीं ना कहीं बातें होना बहुत आवश्यक है और अगर उस प्रकार के कोई प्रस्ताव आते हैं तो हम देखेंगे, मगर साधारणतया जो बातें हम चर्चा ज्यादा से ज्यादा कर सकते हैं उन सभी बातों पर चर्चा करने की कोशिश रहेगी। देर से भी अगर बैठेंगे तो अगर सबका ये बनता है जैसा सहयोग आज अपेक्षित है, आज जो मिला है ऐसा ही मिलता रहा तो देर से भी बैठ के कई सारे ना इस पर चर्चा होगी।
हमने तो 5 विषय पे सरकार के सामने और स्पीकर के सामने रखा है। एक तो डिमोनेटाइजेशन का, नोटबंदी का विषय, दूसरा जो प्रेसिडेंट का एड्रेस है, बजट है, उस पे भी बहस होना चाहिए, तीसरा एक टेररिस्ट और जो भी वायलेशंस सीजफायर हो रहे हैं उसके बारे में, तीसरा जो है आरबीआई इंस्टीट्यूशन, सीबीआई, नीति आयोग और एनआईए, ऐसी जो संस्थाएं हैं, इन संस्थाओं को कमजोर किया जा रहा है, उसके बारे में भी हम चर्चा चाहते हैं।
Well, the day before session of the Parliament, the government called an all-party meeting to discuss issues that would come up. Prime Minister.
Opposition parties put on record their differences with the government on tabling the union budget on February 1st. They raised 2 points: the forthcoming elections in 5 states and that the economic data for the third quarter would not be factored into the document. At the all-party meet, opposition leaders were united in questioning the timing of the budget presentation, even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked for Parliament to rise above party lines and come forward for discussion on various issues.
सबका एक ही राय था, हाउस चलना चाहिए, सदन चलना चाहिए, बजट सत्र चलना चाहिए, दोनों पार्ट के बजट सत्र चलना चाहिए और बहस होना चाहिए।
The budget session will begin on Tuesday with the President's address. It will be followed by the tabling of the economic survey, with the budget being presented on Wednesday. The opposition warned the government against using the budget to announce schemes that could entice voters in the poll-bound states.
ऐसा कोई भी बजट में वो चीज न लाएं जिससे लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड में असर पड़े, और अगर ये ऐसा हुआ तो जाहिर है इसका असर जो है जो 8-9 दिन का हाउस में चर्चा है उस पर इसका असर पड़ेगा।
वो निश्चित रूप से वो बजट जो है वो फेल हो जाएगा अपने मकसद से, जब तक आपको अप टू डेट आंकड़े और परिस्थिति नहीं मालूम। अब डीमोनेटाइजेशन का असर जो पड़ा उसका कोई कंसिडरेशन नहीं होगा इस बजट में।
The meeting was boycotted by Trinamool Congress over demonetization. The party has also decided not to attend parliament proceedings on the first 2 days.
Without doing anything in respect of the demonetization issue, they are coming with the budget. We are protesting that. In view of such protests, we are not attending 2 days. That is 31st and 1st in the parliament.
The first part of the budget session will end on February 9th, while the second part will begin on March 9th and end on April 12th. Now Vikram Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The RBI has lifted cap on daily withdrawals from the ATMs and current accounts starting Wednesday, February 1st. Banks will now have their own operating limits, as was the case before November 8 when the note ban was imposed. However, the weekly limit of Rs 24,000 from saving bank accounts has been retained. The RBI has also lifted with immediate effect restrictions on withdrawal from current account, cash credit accounts and overdraft accounts. The move comes as the remonetization has reached almost 50% now, nearly 3 months after the government's move to ban decision. Meanwhile, the Election Commission is likely to notify election candidates to use current accounts to sidestep the limits in place for saving accounts. This after the RBI rejected EC's request to increase cash limits for the candidates to Rs 2 lakhs per week. The Income Tax Department has launched a crackdown on Benami properties under the recently enforced Benami Property Transactions Act. This comes after the demonetization drive, during which numerous raids were carried out by the authorities, leading to seizure of thousands of crores in illegal wealth. Thereafter, the IT department had started an operation to identify suspect bank accounts where huge cash deposits have been saved. And the fresh crackdown in the last few days, Income Tax Department attached 42 properties, issued 87 notice under prohibition of Benami Property Transactions Act, and also confiscated bank deposits worth crores under newly enforced Benami Transactions Act. Post the demonetization order of the government on the 8th November last year, the IT department had warned people against depositing their unaccounted old currency in someone else's bank account, saying such an act would attract criminal charges under the Benami Property Transactions Act 1988. The act has been enforced from 1st of November last year. The BJP and Congress rated charges over help extended to Vijay Mallya in securing loans and fleeing the country, with two parties accusing each other for coming to the aid of Mallya. BJP on Monday alleged that Congress under leadership of former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh and Finance Minister P. Chidambaram helped Mallya secured bank loans. BJP was quoting from purported letters written by Mallya to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in which he had sought his intervention, following which his now defunct companies received loans. However, Congress party rubbished the allegation, saying that all prime ministers and ministers received routine representation from the industry. Congress also targeted Modi government over allowing liquor baron to flee foreign shores.
Mr. Mallya met Mr. Prime Minister. He apprised that he needed certain help. Mr. Prime Minister guaranteed him of help. Mr. Prime Minister told him to meet his top bureaucrat, and Mr. T.K.A. Nair, the principal advisor to the then Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Manmohan Singh, talks to all other concerned ministries to see to it that Mr. Vijay Mallya is helped.
All Prime Ministers and other ministers in any government receive representations from various captains of industry, which we, in the normal course of things, we pass it on to appropriate authorities. I think what I have done was done with the full satisfaction of mind that we were not doing anything which was against the laws of the land. It was a normal routine transaction.
Government, especially the Prime Minister's office, receive hundreds of representations every day. And these representations are not dealt with by the minister. No minister can deal with each one of these representations. They are then marked down to the department concerned, to the officers concerned, who will then take appropriate follow-up action. Please ask the present government whether they have received any representations at all in the last 3 years. Maybe if they say that they have received no representations, that would be a very serious reflection of the way the government is functioning.
Who permitted Vijay Mallya to escape? Who waived 1200 crore rupees of money of Vijay Mallya? Who permitted Mr. Vijay Mallya to become a member of parliament in 2010?
Jamaat-ud-Dawa chief Hafiz Saeed has been put under house arrest along with 4 others in Pakistan. On Monday, Punjab government's Home Department has issued detention order of Saeed. The action comes amid pressure from Donald Trump administration in US to act against terror. The United States has already offered $10 million for information leading to the arrest and conviction of Saeed. The US has clearly told Islamabad that in case of not taking action against JUD and Saeed, it may face sanctions. JUD is the front for the banned Lashkar-e-Taiba terror outfit, which is responsible for numerous terror attacks in India, including Mumbai terror attack on November 26, 2008. Hafiz Saeed is mastermind of the attack. JUD has already been declared a foreign terrorist organization by the United States in June 2014. Time for a short break. More on the other side.
Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young, and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Welcome back. Now, today is the last day of filing nominations for the third phase of UP Assembly polls. Filing of nominations began on January 24th. Voting on the third phase is scheduled for February 19th, in which 69 constituencies in 12 districts will go to polls. The ruling Samajwadi Party's pocket borough of Mainpuri and Etawah will also vote in this phase. BJP President Amit Shah on Monday launched a scathing attack on Congress chief ministerial face in Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh, saying even though he uses captain in front of his name, he takes orders from Rahul Gandhi. While addressing an election rally in Amritsar, Shah also attacked the Aam Aadmi Party. He said that Arvind Kejriwal was dreaming of becoming chief minister of every state he visits. He asked the electorate to vote for Akali Dal and BJP combined for the third time, stating that the alliance victory in Punjab was necessary for the security of the country.
आपने कैप्टन साहब को चुनने के बाद कभी अमृतसर में देखा है क्या? देखा है? पूरा अमृतसर उनको एब्सेंट एमपी कर जानता है मित्रों। एक ऐसा एमपी जिसको कभी देखा है नहीं। एमपी थे तब तक तो ठीक था, अब वो सीएम बनना चाहते हैं। मुझे मालूम नहीं, अगर सीएम बन गए तो उनको ढूंढने पंजाब की जनता को कहां जाना पड़ेगा।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi on Monday said his party will provide a clean and corruption-free government in Goa, focusing on employment generation. Addressing a rally in poll-bound state, Rahul Gandhi alleged that Goa was being run as per wishes of Prime Minister Modi. He said Congress would not place a dictator or remote control government in the state, but one that belongs to the people. Rahul assured the people that Congress is not ready for any compromise and will work properly and eliminate corruption from Goa. Since Congress government in Goa had lost in 2012 elections over the perceptions of corruption, Rahul informed the people that 60% of Congress candidates were new faces. Goa, which goes to poll on February 4th, has only 2 Lok Sabha seats and 40 assembly seats, and the opposition Congress is seeking to win back the coastal states from the BJP.
प्रधानमंत्री आते हैं, कहते हैं हमने बहुत बढ़िया विकास किया। पूरा गोवा जानता है कि प्रधानमंत्री जी झूठ बोल रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री जी भी जानते हैं कि वो झूठ बोल रहे हैं, मगर वो कहेंगे और बहुत अच्छे शब्दों से कहेंगे कि मैंने भ्रष्टाचार को मिटा दिया। पूरा गोवा जानता है कि भ्रष्टाचार हो रहा है। बीचेस की मैंने अभी बात की। एक व्यक्ति गोवा को नहीं चला सकता है, एक संगठन गोवा को नहीं चला सकता है, एक सोच गोवा को नहीं चला सकती। अगर गोवा को चलाना है, अगर गोवा को तेजी से आगे बढ़ाना है, तो गोवा की जो आवाज है, आप सबकी आवाज, युवाओं की आवाज, महिलाओं की आवाज, बुजुर्गों की आवाज, उस आवाज को विधानसभा के अंदर पहुंचाना है।
I'll look at some other election news in Polpuri. The Goa police on Monday filed an FIR against Arvind Kejriwal for allegedly violating the Model Code of Conduct through his controversial comments about bribery at a rally in Goa. Meanwhile, Goa Forward Party filed a complaint against Manohar Parrikar for making a similar comment, asking people to accept money but vote for his party. UP Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav will campaign for his party in Aligarh today. Aligarh is going to polls in the first phase on February 11th. Former UP Minister Uma Kiran was expelled by the Samajwadi Party for 6 years after she did not withdraw her candidature from Purkazi constituency, which has been given to Congress after a pre-poll alliance between 2 parties. Punjab Deputy Chief Minister Sukhbir Singh Badal has asked the Election Commission to take note of Arvind Kejriwal's alleged stay at the residence of terrorist in Moga. Badal has claimed that Kejriwal's night stay at residence of Khalistan Commando Force Gurinder Singh has destroyed poll atmosphere in Punjab. Now a top international focus. US President Donald Trump has fired acting US Attorney General Sally Yates. The shock move comes after she questioned the legality of his immigration ban. Yates had asked the Justice Department to not defend Trump's order on immigration ban, saying she was not convinced if it was lawful. In a statement, the White House said Yates had betrayed the department. Dana Boente, U.S. Attorney for Eastern District of Virginia, replaces her as acting Attorney General. Earlier, President Trump has taken to Twitter to respond to the move by Sally Yates, saying Democrats have nothing going but obstruct. Trump's ban on the nationals from 7 Muslim-majority country has sparked street protest in the United States and abroad. The ban bars citizens from Iraq, Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Yemen. However, White House has defended the move and says the administration would prevail if there was any legal problems with the order.
His view, in general, is not to wait to get ahead of the curve. There wasn't a specific threat. He was saying we have to do this Saturday, Sunday will be. But the point that I'm trying to make is that we don't know when that hour comes. We don't know when that individual crosses into our border to do us harm. And so the idea of waiting when you don't know, could it be that night, could it be the next day, could it be the next week? And the President's view is, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to make sure that we protect the homeland and its people as soon as possible with every measure that I can.
We are a country based on the rule of law. And in a courtroom, it is not the loudest voice that prevails. It's the Constitution. That's why we're a nation of laws. At the end of the day, either you are abiding by the Constitution or you are not. And in our view, the President is not adhering to the Constitution when it comes to his executive action.
The Supreme Court on Monday appointed former CAG Vinod Rai to head BCCI along with noted historian Ramchandra Guha, former cricketer Diana Adalji and IDFC official Vikram Limai as members. The court also named Amitabh Chaudhary and Anirudh Chaudhary of BCCI and Vikram Limai to represent BCCI at the ICC meeting in the first week of Feb.
In a move aimed at restructuring the country's cricket governing body, BCCI, the Supreme Court on Monday nominated 4 people as administrators to run the board. Ex-Comptroller and Auditor General Vinod Rai will head a 4-member body, which include noted historian Ramchandra Guha, IDFC Managing Director Vikram Limai, and former captain of the Indian women's cricket team Diana Adalji.
BCCI के CEO को कहा गया है कि इनके साथ मिलके वो काम करेंगे और जिनको भी जो आपत्ति होगी दर्ज करानी होगी वो बीसीसीआई सीईओ के मार्फत से एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव पैनल में अपनी बात रखेंगे.
Working with the railways was a good experience. 40 games I was administrating 40 games. But the BCCI is a different ball game completely. It's a very professional, very big body, internationally very famous body, financially very strong. So we have to live up to that reputation and see to it that BCCI goes further, towards one of the best administered sports association in the world.
The Apex Court also cleared BCCI Joint Secretary Amitabh Chaudhary and Vikram Limai to represent the board at the ICC meeting in the first week of February. The court, however, rejected the centre's plea to appoint the Secretary of the Sports Ministry as one of the administrators. The top court has asked BCCI and the centre to suggest names in its previous hearing.
It definitely will clean the BCCI completely. Malfeasance has taken place, maladministration, then there has been no accountability, no responsibility, nothing in the BCCI. They would do anything that they wanted to. And hence it had become a fiefdom of a few and a cozy club for a few. So now with this panel headed by Mr. Vinod Rai, with eminent historian and cricketer himself Ramchandra Guha and Diana Adalji and Vikram Limai, they would see to it that all this is implemented.
The Supreme Court had formed the Justice Lodha Committee to bring administrative changes in the BCCI and had asked the board to implement the new norms set up by the panel.
No, it's a very good committee. The Supreme Court has with it a large panel of names, and I think the 4 names which have been selected are really good, and they must really help in implementation of our report which has been accepted by the Supreme Court.
However, after seeing the BCCI's reluctance, the court in its January 2nd order removed Anurag Thakur as its president and disqualified all office bearers of the board and its state associations as they failed to comply with its orders. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
That's it for now. Keep watching Rajya Sabha. Stay tuned in for budget session of Parliament.